I don't know where I am in the race.
Yeah, P7.
Ferrari tried to hide it, but Montreal exposed everything. What was meant to be the team's comeback moment, a race to prove unity behind its two superstars, became a theatre of chaos, and this time, the collapse was broadcast live. While the cameras followed Russell to victory, Ferrari's radios told a very different story, one of frustration, confusion, and silence in the moments when answers were needed most. Lewis Hamilton, visibly shaken, questioned a car that was falling apart beneath him. Charles Leclerc, increasingly impatient, exploded on the radio after realizing the team ignored his plan. And now that the audio is out, there's no turning back. What we heard weren't just tactical mistakes, they were signs of something deeper, a breakdown in trust between the drivers and the pit wall. Ferrari didn't just lose a race, they lost control of the narrative. What shocked fans most wasn't the strategy, it was the tone. Hamilton didn't lash out, he called for help. Why is this car so slow? It wasn't a rhetorical question, it was a real-time unraveling. A 7-time world champion, driving blind, asking why the machine beneath him felt like sabotage. Moments later, he added, "Out of power, out of pace, boys." It didn't sound like frustration, it sounded like surrender. Then came the number, 25 seconds. "Where have I lost 25 seconds?" he fired back, stunned. That single line, sharp, cold, disbelieving, told the whole story. The car wasn't just underperforming, it was collapsing. "No rear," he reported. "Brake pedal is getting low, I can't stop the car." And Ferrari, they told him, "It's quite balanced." Balanced, while Hamilton was skating off lines, breaking into oblivion, and fighting to keep the car on track. This wasn't miscommunication, this was delusion, and it was mutual. While Hamilton was drowning in silence, Leclerc was slipping into chaos of a different kind. First came the coded suggestion, Plan B. His reply was immediate and cold. "I think Plan C." Short, controlled, but unmistakably annoyed. Then came the real fracture, the box call, unexpected. "Why have we boxed?" Leclerc asked, stunned. The answer? "We're on Plan B." But Leclerc had just told them his tires were fine. They weren't listening, and when they finally did, it was already too late. His voice cracked, restrained fury beneath each syllable. "Yeah, but I was just telling you, tires were fine." Then came the line that went viral. "I don't understand this choice." 6 words, but they cut deeper than any critique. Because they didn't just question a pit stop, they questioned Ferrari's entire decision-making structure. In that moment, it became clear, the pit wall was not having a conversation. They were giving orders and ignoring answers. These weren't hot-headed rants, they weren't diva moments. They were quiet, surgical dissections of a team falling apart in real time. Hamilton didn't scream, he analyzed. Leclerc didn't panic, he calculated. Both were calm, and that's what made it terrifying. Because what we heard wasn't emotion, it was detachment. 2 world-class drivers realizing, mid-race, that no one on the other end of the radio had a clue what was happening. You could hear it in Hamilton's voice. Not anger, but disbelief. Not a fight, but withdrawal. He stopped asking questions. He stopped hoping for solutions. And when the cameras cut to him after the race, head down, packing quietly, it said more than any radio ever could. Not rage, just resignation. Leclerc, he wasn't pacing or yelling, he just sat, staring, replaying the collapse in his mind. This wasn't about tires or timing, it was about trust. And once that's gone, what's left to race for? This was supposed to be the turning point. The weekend where Ferrari silenced the noise and showed the world that Hamilton and Leclerc could coexist as equals. Instead, it was a referendum on leadership, and Ferrari failed, because when both of your drivers, 2 generational talents, are questioning you on the radio, it's not a driver problem, it's a team crisis. Hamilton asked where the pace went. Leclerc asked why no one was listening, and neither got a real answer. The truth, Ferrari's garage doesn't look like a championship team. It looks like a divided empire, with no clear general. The pit wall speaks in code, the strategies change mid-sentence, and the drivers are left to guess which version of the plan they're racing under. This isn't a team building towards a title, it's a team trapped in its own confusion. With 2 stars slowly realizing that the promises made in private aren't being kept in public. The problem isn't just bad calls, it's that no one seems accountable. Hamilton's radio was a map of symptoms, no grip, no brakes, no response. Leclerc's radio was a case study in ignored input, and the engineers, they sounded passive, robotic, unaware. When Hamilton said the car was undrivable, Adami said it was balanced. When Leclerc pushed back, the reply was Plan B. It was like watching two battles, both lost, with no one taking command. Inside any elite team, mistakes happen. But when they happen this publicly, this consistently, the mask slips. And what you see behind it is fear, confusion, no leadership. The silence on the radio wasn't just technical, it was political. A pit wall afraid to admit what everyone could see. They've lost the plot. And now, Hamilton is losing faith, Leclerc is losing patience, and Ferrari is losing control. This isn't about Montreal anymore. This is about whether the Ferrari project is already broken from the inside. Montreal wasn't just a setback, it was a signal flare. Because this time, the mistakes weren't hidden. The world heard the radios, the fans saw the body language, and maybe most importantly, the Ferrari board saw it too. When your most experienced driver looks defeated, when your homegrown star questions your every call, when rivals start whispering about dysfunction, that's not drama, that's collapse. Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari for this. He came to build a legacy, to take a legendary name and lift it back to the top. Instead, he's watching that name crack under pressure. And Leclerc? He's no longer shielding the team in post-race interviews. He's exposing them, live, in the middle of the race. That's not rebellion, that's survival. Ferrari said they wanted two leaders. Now they've got two voices, both asking what is happening inside this team. And the silence speaks louder than any engine ever could. This wasn't misfortune, it was exposure. And now, the mask is off. The fans know, the rivals know, and deep down, even the pit wall knows this is not sustainable. Hamilton came to fight for titles, not to beg for clarity. Leclerc stayed loyal for years, only to be overruled and ignored. And the SF25, it's not just lacking grip, it's lacking leadership. Every radio message that leaked in Montreal pulled the curtain back on a team in denial. But here's the truth, you can't build a championship on silence and contradictions. The next race won't be about pace, it will be about trust. Because now, every lap carries a new weight. Can Ferrari hold this together? Or is the civil war already underway? Because this is just the beginning. The next race won't just be about tires or strategy, it will be about control. Will Hamilton finally take charge of this sinking ship? Will Leclerc keep speaking out or be silenced? And most of all, will Ferrari listen? Comment below, do you trust Ferrari's pit wall or has the damage already been done? If you believe this team must change, let them hear you. Type it loud, I'll stand with Lewis. And if you want the full story, not the filtered broadcast, subscribe right now because the next chapter in this Ferrari civil war is coming faster than they can stop it. And if you're still watching, you already know this isn't just about one race, it's about something deeper. Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari to compete, he came to change it. But change never comes without resistance. And now, the resistance is showing its face, in strategy calls, in silence, in every line of that broken radio. So ask yourself, if both drivers are doubting the team, how long before one of them stops playing along? We'll be watching, we'll be listening, because this story, your story, isn't over. It's only just starting to unravel.